We're 504, 444. Light 'em up, boys. Or in my case, I'm super hydrated.
Yeah, cursifing.
I've been drinking since 11 a.m.
I'm going non-alcoholic.
Yeah, it's a good time to set it for cruise. So today was the distinguished gentleman's ride, the disgruntled gentleman's ride. But not today. We had perfect weather. It was cool. We could dress up in our cool shit and not sweat our balls off like we've done in years past. And it also didn't rain all over us.
Well, yeah. Once again, if you listen to the weatherman, today was going to be 50, mostly cloudy, lots of rain. Yeah. None of that happened.
None of it happened. It was just great. They knew Cleveland wanted to ride.
Yeah.
We counted over 229 bikes leaving Skidmark Garage, which is fantastic. Super loved it. Everyone had a great time. To my left, we have
Dan Kromke.
To his left,
Steve Sleepy.
And to his left,
Johnny Mac.
And behind the bar,
Tom Pennington.
It's a small group because we didn't have too many survivors. Today's been a long day. We have rolled out hard. Today I rode the V100 Mandello S. Great bike, served me totally well. Completely love it. Except for some asshole tried to pass me on the outside coming off the Abbey Road ramp. I don't know who the fuck that was.
I saw that.
I felt
you
him.
should have kicked him.
I felt him in my pocket. I had the good line, the inside line, and he's like, this dude's just trying to come around me on the outside.
He'll be coming around the outside when he comes.
Oh my God!
I got new tires, man. They're sticky.
There's one rule: don't try to pass Phil.
Oh, he was doing a good job. He got me. He absolutely got me. And I saw him. And I was like, man, I don't want to close the door on him. And he's wearing a suit jacket.
I was aware.
Yeah.
I was holding the line. I wasn't sneaking past.
It was perfect. Dan, what were you riding today?
My new Vespa.
Yeah, and it turns out that Vespa's got a little bit of poke. Not as slow as most Vespas, is it?
Yeah, made 85 on the freeway coming home.
Oh.
And there was headwind.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So that's impressive, man.
It was very impressive. That bike hauls the mail. It really does. You guys were flying. And to the left of him, Sleepy, what were you riding today, sir?
My Africa Twin, but is now a sport bike again. So Tom fucked me. He went. I brought him some tires to put on because if you fucked with Africa Twin wheels, you need the machine. You're not doing that shit at home.
Yeah.
And so he balanced them so well that when I put them on the way to the ride, I could usually feel 75, 80 with the Shinkos. I was like, okay, I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I was looking up, not looking down at the speedo, just rolling along.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, these motherfuckers are all going so slow today. And then I looked down. I was doing 105.
Yeah.
That bike is smooth. Like, it's not the same bike anymore. Now it's just a squishy sport bike.
That's a comfortable sport bike.
Yeah.
And John, what were you riding today?
I was riding my vintage Kawasaki 2014 Versys.
That's right. Yeah, the Versys.
Wow, our vintage section has gone way down.
Way down.
I wasn't having nothing to do with trying to resurrect my Super Hawk.
We're getting the historic plates for that Versys next week.
Yeah, but credit to John. He rode up that line so many times and blocked so many things.
It was a super fun ride. Tom, what were you riding today?
How old is that V7 Cafe Racer?
2013.
13? So yeah, the V7 Cafe Racer.
Yeah, so our friend Darren Packervan I picked his bike up in Chicago, brought it back to Cleveland for some desperately needed services. And we just didn't really have an opportunity to put a lot of miles on it, make sure everything was good to go, because Darren rides his bike a lot. We want to make sure it was good. And Chicago's a long way away. So we decided, I decided that Tom was going to ride that in the DGR today.
Yeah.
Put a cool, 80 miles on it or something.
Because we were sitting around brainstorming, and I said, what do you want me to ride? Because otherwise I'll just put the buddy back in service. And you were like, well, Chris Smith had the V85 TT.
Yeah. Yep.
You had the V100. I said, well, the only thing you don't have represented is a V7.
Exactly.
But I do not want to put miles on it because it's the price leader.
Brand new.
Yeah. And you were like, Darren's bike.
Darren's bike was a good candidate, and it ran beautiful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
God, it ran good. It was a really, really good time.
It reminded me of everything I liked about Gootsies.
Yes.
Because I have not been on one in some time. And I still have my Ambassador buried back in the back of the closet. And I got on it, I'm like, this is what I remember. This is everything I remember.
It's why you buy a Gucci.
Exactly.
Right. I passed Tom. I'm sure I'll have footage of it, and if I do, I'll find it. But I passed him at one point. And the smile on Tom. Tom looked like he was just enjoying riding a fucking motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
It was really nice to see.
And I don't get to as much as I used to.
Yeah.
You know, I used to blast out to Gulfport and hang out on the beach and everything else, you know, on any random weekend. And now I'm so tied up with
I was going to say, now
work.
you're just riding customers' bikes.
Exactly. Now I'm just
Yeah.
riding customers' bikes all the time. And I get a one lap, and sometimes I'll do the Metro Park if I need to put some miles on.
Right.
But I don't get to go, 100-mile-an-hour blast on the interstate. I don't get to go out to the far away Metro Parks and stuff anymore.
Yeah, it was cool.
So I have a question. I rode behind Tom for quite a while today.
Yeah.
I love those pipes.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of pipes are those? Oh, my God.
Yeah, those are Agostini liquid sex pipes.
Oh, yeah.
Agostini makes probably the greatest exhaust systems in the world. They are only about 3 blocks away from the Moto Guzzi factory and museum. And they've been doing Moto Guzzi exhaust for a long time. And that part of their location was that they were literally in the footprint of the factory.
Right.
So that you could just go grab a bike, bring it over, do the R&D, and have a set of pipes by the afternoon. And the thing with Agostini that I found is that they're just artisanally made. They line up perfectly. Nothing is ever off by a quarter inch. Everything lines up perfectly. They come with decibel killers in them, so they're Euro compliant. But it takes, no joke, it takes 1 4mm Allen wrench to remove the decibel killers and unleash what can only be described as the most satisfying bass note out of a 750. Not a big 750, a little 750.
Right.
But it just sounds like do 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 do. And when it's on the hype, it sounds delightful.
If you told
heard
me
it.
that I would ride behind somebody and listen to their pipes all day and love it,
Yeah.
I'd have told you were insane. But I just wanted to just keep riding behind him and listen to those fucking pipes.
Those Agostinis are fucking magical. They really are.
Mark wouldn't ride behind, Mark wouldn't ride behind me when I had that SC pipe on my fucking Tuono.
No.
He goes, I don't give a fuck if you're like, he's usually faster, but he goes, if you're going to pass me in a turn, don't, because I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear that thing. Yeah, the Agostinis are that perfect note.
We came through that double bridge where it was, almost like a tunnel. And I know what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
kept playing the
Playing
pipes.
the song, yeah. Playing the
And
pipes.
everybody around me was just like,
What is that sound?
who's making that?
Because the trick is, like, Harleys are loud.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not good.
They're obnoxious.
But the Agostinis are just like that 300-pound opera bass. You know, that guy who's been singing forever, and he can hit the notes and make the whole place shake.
And that's, a Guzzi already, I always tell people, look, it's a small block Chevy.
It is a small block Chevy.
It sounds like a small block Chevy. And when you put a good pipe on it,
Yeah.
and I mean, shoot, pea shooters will work.
Yeah.
But when you put an Agostini on it, forget it.
Yeah, we did a good business putting the cheapo M-Goes
Yeah.
on it, and we put the cheapo M-Goes on it, and people always be like, "Oh my god, it sounds so good." But the Agos are just the best. They're so good. They're so good. It was fun. We had a really good time. Now, here's what's weird. At some point in the ride, we got into Richmond Heights, and we're Dave King says greetings from Texas. Hey, Dave King. We got into Richmond Heights, and I kind of looked and checked the mirror because the hardest part of that ride is getting from Lakeshore Boulevard, where Brattonall and all the millionaires' houses are, through the not so advantaged neighborhood, up to the hill that goes up to Richmond Heights and Willoughby Hills, and you got to get up that hill. But there's a lot of ziggy-zaggy, and I threw in about 3/4 of a mile of cobblestone or brick road, an actual brick road.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I made sure to throw in about 3/4 of a mile of brick road just to remind everybody what it's like. Today's ride was about the history of Cleveland, right? We wanted to show you Brattonall. We wanted to show you the brick roads. We wanted to show you that. And everyone was like, oh my God, man, that brick road. Jesus Christ. The parts of my bike are still laying back there. But when we got up the hill, at the top of the hill, we slowed way, 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 way down. And as soon as we crossed the line to Richmond Heights, I got everybody kind of over on the side, and I slowed down. And I was like, we lost 3/4 of the group. I mean, because I was using that Can-Am Spider, Tony's Can-Am Spider, I was using that as a marker. I kind of knew where he was in the group, and I didn't see him anymore.
Well, that's where our adventure started.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about that, because you had a front row seat.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, at that point, I had just done the thing where I stopped and let everybody go past us and all that down at
beautiful.
the hill.
So
right?
cool.
So I'm looking. I can't wait to see what that looks like. So I'm fucking taking off and passing
Oh, wait,
everybody.
I have to preface this by one time. During my invocation, I always give an invocation. I always give a a greeting, a blessing to the whole thing. It's not religious, but I basically try to make sure people know the rules, know why we're here, know what the history of the event is, And during it, one of the guys in the audience said, "Hey, I got a question. Who is the oldest rider here?" And so, show of hands, anybody over 70? Okay, a couple hands went up.
2 guys, 71, 71.
Yeah, anybody over 71, 72, whatever.
Yep.
And it went all the way up to 75.
Yep.
And that one guy, Ernie? Okay.
I think.
Yeah, hands up, 75 years old, riding a Royal Enfield at the event. And then just for fun, I said, okay, well, who's the youngest rider here? And there was a shootout between a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old.
Yep.
Very cool. I'd never thought to do that before. That was really fun. So our 75-year-old rider, flash forward to your story.
Yeah, so I'm coming from getting that shot. And I'm going to zoom past everybody. So I'm standing to the left, and I'm not zooming, but I'm going, and I'm passing people, getting the footage. And as I start to come up this hill and just about to crest it, I see a little brown puff of dust next to everybody. And I was like, that doesn't look good. And so I started slowing down, and there were a couple people. Instantly, I knew somebody was down. You could
Right.
see a bike up on its side, and I was like, how did this happen? Because it was in a place where there was nothing. It was just a road.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I mean?
just a road.
Yeah, and nobody,
Residential area.
and everybody was literally going 30.
Right.
Like it wasn't a high speed situation.
Yeah.
It was nothing like that, right? And so I immediately look and see that it's the old dude.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh shit. So I stop, throw my bike, and jump off. A couple other people had got the guy now, and they have him over there. And I just run up. I'm like, do you need 911? Do you
Right.
need an ambulance? He's like, I'm fine. I'm like, no. Like, I know you're in shock right now, but does something kind of hurt? Because that's going to hurt way later, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm fine. So then I look, and nobody has picked up or shut off the dude's bike. So I run over
Jesus
there.
Christ.
and
His
I
bike was
shut
still
it off.
running?
Yeah, and so we got that off, and we shut
Yeah.
the key off and stuff. And this other dude helped me pick it up, made sure the oil wasn't, going up through the whole thing.
Right.
And you could tell kind of that I think what had happened is he's probably not used to riding with that many people.
Yeah.
And I think somebody maybe got a little close to him, and he veered to the right, and there was like one of those 3.5-inch curbs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't smooth, it was vertical.
Yeah, perfectly square
And
curve.
so I think what he did is I think it caught his front rim just enough to pull him in.
Yeah, once you touch it,
and
you're done.
He went over. And so the bike was not bad at all. Like the one bezel was like broken a little bit. The fender had a tiny scratch. And then the only thing that was a problem was the foot peg, which now this is something that I told you I have never seen before. Like usually if you bend a foot peg and brake lever
Right.
past 25%,
They're gone.
You're going to start seeing the aluminum breaking. If it's not off, it's going to be like
Breaking.
unusable.
Yeah.
This thing was 90 degrees from where it started, and I was like, well, they're going to have to tow that bike. So after, we made sure he was okay and stuff, we kind of jumped back on and went to find out what was going on. I see John going, I think we lost everybody. So John pulled in, and then we started directing everybody into the parking lot. Because at this point, we didn't know where you got. Well, he took off to find you at first.
I came up and I saw people like everybody slowed down, and then I saw some people were pulled over. I'm like, probably maybe somebody broke down. And then I kind of went by and I saw, oh no, I think that guy actually. I thought somebody broke down. I'm like, no, I think that guy went down. And then I rode a little bit more, and there were no more bikes, and there was no fill, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I circled back around, and and I was like, okay, what's going on? Blah blah blah. This guy wrecked, whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna go try to catch up with Phil and let him know, or. So I took off, and then I saw, I'm like, he could have turned there. He could have turned there. I went up to the next nearest intersection, and then there was like a big parking lot there at Richmond and whatever. And I just pulled in there, and then I posted up so people could see me, and then people started turning in. I'm like, okay, so.
That's good.
That whole parking lot filled up with everybody,
Good.
and then once everybody was in there, I'm like, I tried texting you, but obviously, it's useless. And I'm like, well, the only thing that makes sense is for us to just, we'll group up here, and then we'll head to Squire's Castle,
Right.
and so I got to lead the ride.
Yep. So John started looking up stuff, and then I ran around telling everybody, okay, in 1 minute, follow the guy on the green bike.
Right.
Just screaming at everybody.
There
They're
is
like,
a new
"Ah!"
ride leader.
I
Yeah.
gave him let's go.
Yeah.
I took my group, the first third that was still with me, when we pulled, obviously proceeding gaily forward, we rolled in and we went in the first entrance by the fire department, Buttermilk Falls, which gives you the ability to use all these really fun S-curves and all these really...
Yeah, I saw the
serpentine
turn off
shit.
there, and
Yeah.
I was like, I bet Phil went there.
Yeah.
But I had already rolled past it, so by the time I went up to Richmond Road, I'm like, well,
Yeah, go to River Road, you'll be fine. That's how you get there. And when we ducked in, I looked back and I was like, oh man, there's only like a third as many people. I thought somebody got a red light or whatever. No big deal. So once we got in the metro parks, and I grew up in that. I grew up in that metro parks. So I was kind of like, I know where the cops can hide, whatever. We kind of went through and it's looking pretty good. And I was like, all right, well, this is the time now. Let's wick it up. And so we got to the S curves and Killer Hill. And when we got to Killer Hill, I was like, damn, there's nobody here on the road except for us. Thank God it's cloudy. And we turned it up. And so we turned it up, and I started entering Killer Hill, which is like a series of S curves, all downward slope. It's 30 miles an hour, but 50, 60 is more fun. And I looked in my rearview mirror, and I still had 5 or 6 guys in my pocket. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And so we turned it into like, okay, let's just go. We got our group, and there's no turn, so you pretty much just are going to end up there. And so we got there, got to the bottom of Killer Hill. You have to make a hard left to go to the castle. The last mile of road to the castle is just a drag strip. So we all used that road as a drag strip. It was amazing. And so we all got to the castle pretty quickly. And then when we got there, I was like, oh shit, we missed half the group. So it didn't take us. I went one lap of the parking lot. I went to go pee because I was dying, brick road. And several beverages in a brick road later. And I went back, and as soon as I came out, you were there. You were literally pulled in.
Yeah,
you guys
we just took 6 and just went straight
You weren't
Chardon Road. And
5 minutes behind us, not even 3 minutes behind us. Yeah. But then, to everybody's surprise...
Wait, so I was way up by the castle with Tom.
Yeah.
Well, I'm showing him the castle, and so I was like, I heard what you were thinking.
Yeah.
It was
to everybody's surprise, we're bullshitting about the guy that crashed, having, oh my God, whatever. And here he comes.
Yeah.
So there were 2 guys with him, and he rolls in, smile on his face, big as shit. His jeans weren't even ripped, God bless him.
Yeah.
He had a little scuff on his boots. His boots were brand new. I think he decided to buy that motorcycle and do this event like on Thursday.
Yeah. But like the best part is that he did pick the perfect time to crash.
He did.
It was literally 20 miles an hour uphill.
You couldn't have had a softer crash.
No.
And for a 75-year-old body. So we got there, and his clocks were broken off the bracket that holds the clocks on. They were broken plastic, just nothing special. So that was busted. Somebody had literally grabbed his foot brake lever. Because it's made of indianium, right? The softest metal known to man.
I can't believe
Rockwell hardness of 0. They grabbed it, and they just bent it with their hand back into the position it left the factory in,
That's
give or
insane.
take.
I mean, it was fucking vertical, dude.
I know.
I was like, this is a towed bike.
Yeah,
I have never seen any motorcycle unbend like that.
Unless it's a Royal Enfield, in which case they are made of cheese.
Yes.
I believe this now.
The steel the Indians use in their manufacturing is you can do like brake levers. You can just pull.
Well,
them
the
right
joke
back.
in the industry is if somebody comes into your shop and their brake lever looks like a banana,
Yeah.
right, or looks like the letter C, congratulations, it used its one hit.
Yeah.
You cannot heat that. You cannot bend that. The second you put any pressure on it, it's going to shatter. It gets one bend, and you have a C-shaped lever for the rest of your life. In this bike, everything bent back. The levers bent back. The foot peg bent back. The brake lever bent back. It is all made out of some sort of rubber-based steel.
I would have
never
lost.
seen anything
I would have
like that.
lost in Vegas if I had a bet if that bike was going to show up or him.
0% chance.
I was so happy to see him.
Yeah,
I got him a big thumbs up on camera.
Dude's a big trooper. So that's why when he came in, we all lost our goddamn minds and started cheering for him because it was a big goddamn deal.
Well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
So me and Tom are way up there.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in the back of my head. I'm like, I hope that dude's okay.
Right.
And I hear the cheer, and I'm like, could it be?
Could it
And then I went
possibly
down
be?
there, and then you guys all confirmed it. It was like, it made it even better because then I heard the whole crowd cheer, but we had to run down.
It's a distinguished miracle.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a distinguished miracle.
Yeah, totally
So
cool.
our oldest rider had an off, but he totally handled it like a hero.
Yeah.
He's going to be sore tomorrow, but he was a good sport about
He's
it.
got, dude, if he goes to like the old man club,
Yeah.
now he's got a fucking story. I was riding with all these young hooligans.
I was riding with-
came across the hill on a wheelie. They they were impressed.
Somebody, when they were over there, they're like, oh, yeah. Well, Phil came over and told him, get up off the ground, dust yourself off, get back on your bike, you bitch. And all, of course, everyone's like, Jesus Christ, Phil, settle down. No, I didn't say that. He's a sweet old man, right? That's super cool.
Well, I was there by the side of the road, smelting him a new hand lever because I carry all of that stuff in my top case.
No, I had found a leftover piece of rebar, and I cobbled him a brake lever. Right. I found 3 wire coat hangers, and I made him a brake lever. It was something. But it was great. I think we had a good time. And so just so people don't know, every year we try to do something different with the ride. for my whole existence of riding motorcycles in Cleveland, I always wanted there to be a TT. So last year, the situation was kind of right that we went out west to a bar out there called Speak of the Devil. And the idea was when we had a couple of drinks at Speak of the Devil, then we were going to split the group up into 3 groups, a 125, 150 group. Then there was going to be a sub 500 group, and there was going to be an unlimited group. And that we were going to get them together at a 30-minute interval and let them go at 30-minute intervals. But they had to stop at a secret spot and get a secret token from my wife at the secret spot. And we weren't going to reveal the secret spot until it was go time. And by the way, it is a balls-to-the-wall race from there, 30-some-odd miles, to Porco. That's dicey.
Yeah.
And the secret spot was chosen specifically because if you used Google Maps, it would be clear to you that the secret spot was easier to access if you didn't go on the freeway. You would actually get to the secret spot faster by not using the freeway. Therefore, to limit the amount of time that guys had on the freeway to go super duper fast.
Right.
But apparently that backfired because some of our guys were going over 130 miles an hour on Lake Road. And Lake Road is 35.
Right.
But they got to Merritt, and Merritt was like, they're already here, right? So the unlimited class had caught and passed the super sport class, the 500, 600 class, and they had caught up to the Tiddler class,
I mean, think
the
about
mini moto class.
Like you basically are like, say, all you guys with the fast bikes.
Right.
Let's form a club and do this race, but just maintain the speed limit if you can.
If you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, for legal
Right.
reasons, you had no clue that anybody would be fast. But
I couldn't have imagined.
No,
So the long and short of it was then they had to get the playing card from Merritt. So once they got the token from Merritt, the playing card from Merritt, then they had to fuck off to Porco, choosing the best way they wanted to, which at that point, I know it's still to go on Lake Road. So continuing down Lake Road is faster. But a couple of guys were like, screw that, we're getting on the freeway. And they got on the freeway, and they were going over 140 miles an hour on the freeway.
And some of these guys, when they say sport bikes, and
Allegedly.
stuff, we're riding, because we know a few of them,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
They were riding vintage sport bikes, and one of them was borrowing the vintage sport bike
Exactly.
and didn't even know that it didn't have rear brakes at the time of said speeds.
And he's the guy who cheated by going on the sidewalks through the construction zones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. But I thought it was one mission accomplished. We did our TT.
Yeah.
We did our completely unlimited be a dumbass TT. But we also kind of learned that guys will use that as an excuse to do dumb shit for a bag of garbage. So my prize bag. But this year we wanted to stop that. So I had the idea to do a time over distance rally where we had some defined clear points that we would tell people a riddle about, figure this out, give you the clues.
You're harking back to Fantasy Coach Works on
Yes.
Broadview, Ohio back then days. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah.
Ooh, we're doing the rally Saturday.
Doing the rally on Saturday, time over distance rally. Bring out your 1953 MG. Yeah. And so that was the idea. It was supposed to be an old timey rally because rallying was a really big deal in Cleveland. Car rallies were a big deal in Cleveland. Motorcycle rallies were a big deal in Cleveland. Gypsy clubs were a big deal.
Some of these are like 12-hour rallies, man. They'd send you like the one bridge, or what do you call it, the wooden bridge rally, where you
Covered bridge tour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
covered
shit.
bridge tour. You'd be out there for 9 hours and you'd be down to 10 seconds.
We
Yeah.
can do that out at Conneaut anytime you want. There's
yeah.
19 of them.
Holy
shit.
crap. Oh my God. So we chose the resting place of Garrett Morgan, the inventor of the traffic signal as such, 1921. And also he invented the gas mask, the practical, usable, functional gas mask, which saved thousands of lives in World War I.
Boy, if only we had some of those down here some nights, would
Yeah.
be quite advantageous.
A Garrett Morgan gas mask. But the big deal was, he invented that gas mask just in time for World War I, and he couldn't get a patent on it because he was black.
Oh,
So they had to get a patent on it in somebody else's name to supply the military with those gas masks. So he didn't make $1 million during World War I. John, tell the story about how Garrett Morgan's life, sort of after World War I, what happened to him.
Well, I mean, originally he made the gas mask for the 5 Mile crib. Well, it came into play. He had built the gas mask. He was doing it. And then when Cleveland was building their 5 Mile crib, which is a tunnel that goes from Cleveland out 5 miles into Lake Erie to bring fresh water into the water system, there was a cave-in and a fire, and apparently he went down and saved 27 people when nobody else would.
Right.
Literally carried them out one after another, after another, after another. And So that was the first time that his gas mask came into play, and it was an early prototype, which was just a hood with a hose that went down by your ankle so you could breathe good air off the ground. But at the end of his days, from what I've heard or was told, it was that he was a carnival freak kind of thing, a sideshow deal where he would put his gas mask on and go into a glass room, and they would throw a toxic gas grenade or something in there, and there'd be chickens or something, and they would all die and everything, and he would be in there, and they'd be like, he's been in there for 20 minutes. How's he gonna, And he would come out, but then
He'd
the
take
mask would
off.
come off, and they're like,
Right.
yeah, go back in without the mask.
Right.
Like,
So, like, the idea was that despite his amazing invention, because he was a black guy, he never got any credit whatsoever. And the reason I wanted to include that in today's ride is, one, it might make you look up who Garrett Morgan was. And the other thing was, when you get out to his gravesite is just a stone. There's nothing special about it. For what this guy did, for the way he changed a lot, and gas masks in general, which has saved countless lives, he had that idea and he put it into application. And traffic lights, which have saved countless lives, right? And yet he died essentially penniless.
Poor.
He died poor. And his grave marker, is the most austere little thing ever. And it was good to kind of send people after that, to just be, hey, this is a Cleveland thing.
The one water plant is named after him, Garrett Morgan.
Yep, and there we have a school here too. It's called Garrett Morgan. Yep, and then the second one was one that was hilarious. I was racking my brain for a second Cleveland landmark, and I couldn't come up with a second Cleveland landmark. Something that would be kind of on the way that people would have to find, and it was hilarious because Dan was in my shop, or Dan was at Porco, and I was sitting next to him at Porco, and I was like, Dan, you know a lot about Cleveland history. Give me something, and Dan didn't take 3 seconds. Dan was like, Dunham House, Dunham Tavern. And I was like, I do not know this Dunham Tavern. I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Turns out 17, no, bear with me, 1821. It's 204 years old.
Yeah.
Same structure, same location, 204 years, oldest structure in the city of Cleveland. Still there. It's a historical society now. Was a functioning tap house, a functioning roadhouse for people that were making the journey back in 1821, the immigrants who were coming and heading west. 1821 is well before the days of the cowboys, well before the days of the Wild West. And this was the place where if you made it to Cleveland, you had a room for the night.
Wow.
You could hitch up your horses, you could get a meal, you could get a room for the night. And it was a big, big part of Western expansion, right? And it did become an actual tap house. So it was a tap house, and it was a functioning establishment since 1821, or 1824.
It sucks that they don't have like an actual place you can go. I mean, I know it's a
Right.
museum.
It's a
something,
museum.
but it would have
Right.
been cooler if they made it a tap house museum.
It would be something if it was still functioning, right?
Yeah.
But so that was our second second thing you had to go find, and I had used an application to figure out the correct time to get to those locations. What was funny is we did not know that Case Western Reserve University was having their graduation ceremonies today. So clogged up a whole part of Cleveland, a part of Cleveland that you needed desperately if you're going to go between those two locations. Well, a lot of guys used Google Maps to figure out the time over distance, what time they should be there. Apparently, I've heard some stories from people that did that today, that they hurried to get there, and then once they got there, they stopped and they were circling it, waiting for the time, and then they checked in and took their pictures when the time said. But it turns out that the time over distance rally did figure in for the traffic at Case because it looks at the traffic that's happening right now.
Right.
And so it was interesting that it figured in for that. So our friends, Duncan and those guys, they managed to get there. And I mean, they were literally 10 seconds off the pace by dumb luck or what have you. But they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. They nailed both locations. They got the present. They got
Still
the prize.
good to see Duncan. I
It
always
is.
like seeing Duncan.
Yeah, he's a great dude. They were on a Suzuki with a giant windjammer on it.
Yeah, it's an 850L.
Yeah, 850L with a big old windjammer.
Yeah. Anytime if you're looking at Suzuki's and there's an L involved, you just don't maybe take a second look at that thing. It's never good.
It's never good.
Like the G, you're gonna get a shaft. That's
Right.
okay.
That's
Shaft
okay.
drives
Right.
are all right.
Yeah.
Them L's, man.
The L is limited for a limited paycheck.
Yeah.
It was the
limited style.
limited style.
Limited resellability.
Right.
There's
It was
a lot of
definitely
L's.
L, or as we say, the L model. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. But we had such a good
Stop
turnout.
talking that way about Duncan's bike.
He does too. He knows.
Well, it's just it is what it is, but it's also Survivor.
Well,
so
we came out when Dan and I came out. We were waiting on you at Porco.
Yeah.
He goes. They were over at the bike.
Yeah.
And pushed the button. Nothing.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
Hey, Tom.
And I'm like, uh-oh.
What's the chance that you have a powerful USB-C charger?
Oh, hang on. Let me go get that.
Oh, our monitor
Yeah.
went away.
So it took him 2 or 3 tries to get that thing started. So I'll be right back.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, the one we're plugging into the USB, but it wasn't spicy enough.
No, Tom has it, but I have to get one. So we've been using Tom's, but I didn't know he needed it.
Right. Oh, that
So then
makes
he
sense.
didn't put it back in.
Yeah.
Plus, we had a hectic day.
We did have a hectic day, and not for nothing.
I thought it was pleasant. I really
Yeah.
had a, I had a
Got one
great
on the
day.
bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny because I couldn't go to the Skid Marks 10th anniversary party last. Oh, I went. We hung the banner and got everything ready for that. But because we had Moto Guzzi demo rides during the day, I'd been on stage all day, and it was more than I could handle. So when we showed up at Skid Mark, we hung out for a little while. You know, had a couple of drinks, had a cigarette, kind of walked around the place a little bit, and Merrick goes, "Yeah, it's getting chilly. I need to go to the car and get my hat," which is code for I am punching out. You have X number of minutes to also punch out. And wouldn't you know?
And this is where the podcast crashes.
Right, we're about to lose the podcast as we're plugging shit in. Wouldn't you know? I got home just in time because I hadn't eaten anything all day yesterday. I got home, made myself a salad, and sat down in front of the TV and fell asleep fucking instantly. Slept for 9 hours. Woke up this morning just in time to have coital relations with my wife and make it to my shop and Skid Mark in perfect time, like I was programmed to do it. And in case you weren't sure, that's all my wife's fault. She's got that shit down to the minute. Like, she's got that figured out. I was, like, very impressed with her ability to control that situation. No. Okay,
Have your people talk with my people, please.
Redonk says, I'm hoping Sleepy's bolo tie has a scorpion or a spider in it.
No, you need a close up of that. You need a close up of that.
Get the Meckle Fresh camera.
Mac cam.
Whatever it is,
Get the
it's
Mac camera.
blind.
It's permanently mounted.
Oh, it is.
Oh, no, hold on. It is a raccoon holding a banjo.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
I
though
don't
you
play,
couldn't.
dude. I don't play.
But did you make that or did you order it?
My wife and daughter got that for my birthday.
That's brilliant.
They were like, if you're playing bluegrass, you need a fucking bluegrass tie.
You do need
they
a bolo
got
tie.
that fucking- yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my god! And it's got a raccoon playing a banjo on it.
Which
It's
is
just the
But
best.
hysterical.
what you told me, you guys
Yeah.
told me something today, and I didn't notice until I went to the bathroom and saw it.
Yeah.
Like what the wind did to my hair and
Yeah.
shit. I look like I'm trying to sell cocaine to your wife.
Let's.
Like
So
it looks not great.
so
My wife gets all her cocaine for free.
So
But yeah.
So Harley Bob
sure-
showed up.
Bobby Peru.
So
I sure do like a girl with pretty lips and looks like she can buck like money.
so.
Can you say that for me, Cinch?
Yeah, tell you what, man.
Oh, here we go. So Harley Bob shows up, and he has literally, I think I had the exact same, not kidding, green jacket with the leather lapels in like junior high.
Oh yeah.
And he rolls out, and I look at him and I go, I'm not buying cocaine from you today, Harley Bob.
Go away! Don't you
No,
dare try to sell me
I
cocaine.
think Phil nailed it. I think that was a top of a Z Cavarici suit.
I think it was. I think
And
that
he
was.
no longer had the Z Cavarici pants.
I think it was
Fit
a
it.
Z Cavarici circa 1985 top bottom combo.
Do you know why? You nailed it. Because it's so short, and
Exactly.
that's because Z Cavarici's went up to your nipples.
That's
so the
right.
jacket could be shorter like
The
that.
top 6 inches of every pair of Z Cavaricis was leather,
Yeah.
so you could show
With
off the
6
leather.
or 7 belts.
Right.
So you could squeeze it all in and
You
make it
cinch
you
it all
got
in.
muscles.
Right. And then you had that little tiny crop top on the top.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that was part of a 2-part set that he was
dude,
wearing.
he wasn't lying. He bought a suit in 1987.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he never fucking bought
Yeah,
another one.
yeah.
Absolutely true.
Why would I say if he had jumped out of a telephone booth and told me we have to save the future by going back and getting Napoleon, I'd have been like, all right, fuck
Yeah.
it, I'm in.
That's it. I'm in. We're going right now.
Oh, this isn't
Absolutely.
good. This one's not cutting it either.
Oh, that's a little.
Well, no, because it wasn't at 100%
No,
because
it's-
it wasn't plugged in.
It's trying to bring it back from the dead. But we're still going out to the world, aren't we?
For right now, we got 14% left, man.
Okay. 14's pretty good. I like
It
14.
doesn't get any better than that one. So.
Okay. Everybody talk quieter.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's going to save the voltages.
And then
Can you turn the display off?
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. another thing that I was really thrilled with was when we got to Skid Market and everybody's like, okay, when I said how many people this is their first ever DGR, because we've been doing this for over 14 years.
Yeah.
And when I said how many people first DGR, I was shocked. There were 60 hands that went up.
Oh yeah, half the room put their hands up. I was like, wow,
That was
How did
amazing.
you guys hear about this?
It really was. It was super cool. There, again, it always impresses me. And some years I said, okay, this is my last DGR. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just done. I've had enough. But this year was one of the ones that it was just super fun. Every time we did anything, like every get together was super fun.
Thank you for your service, Phil.
Oh, you're so welcome. I do appreciate it.
And I still think, since last night was technically the anniversary of Skidmark,
Right. Yep.
and the next day is the DGR, I think from now on we're just going to have an urban rally
Yeah.
in the parking lot and just roll it into the next day.
I think that's a good idea, actually. Yeah, that's not a bad
Like
idea.
we'll figure out how to short-term lease the second floor or whatever's
second floor
empty
Skidmark.
upstairs.
Yeah, but then are you going to start the DGR at like 6 p.m.?
well, no, we'll have a
Because ain't nobody getting up at 10 after a rally the next day to fucking go do a DGR.
Again, so nationally or internationally, the general consensus is the DGR is supposed to start at 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. And we did that never.
Yeah.
Our first DGR, we were like, okay, fuck that 9 o'clock. We're going to start at 10. And then we went to 11. And then we went to 12. And now we start at 1.
And look how many people come now.
Well, like I said, we had over 180 registered, and
Yeah.
we had 228 show up.
And
or
how many
something like
people
that.
used to come when it was at 9? Or all these other
the first
cities?
the first couple of years it was pretty skinny. Let me tell you
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I'm thinking, roll it in urban rally and then roll it into kegs and eggs.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You wake and bake. Let's go.
Just keep going, man.
I just want a straight beeline from Skidmark right to Pork.
Right to pork. Right? Why dick around?
Yeah, let's just go.
Yeah. Well,
So this tiki bar in Cleveland is notorious for having great drinks.
Yeah.
Go.
just go. Just fucking go. It is funny because John and I got there, our little group that left Scory's Castle, we didn't do any of the scavenger hunt shit. We just went to Porco. So when we got there, I was pretty pissed off. Well, I was sad. There were only like 11 bikes in the parking
Oh, yeah.
lot. And I was like, oh my God, there's only like 11 bikes in the parking lot. I think people just went home. I think people just said they had enough and they gone home.
Meanwhile, there was like 20 pizzas and
Right.
yeah.
We'd ordered
Porco waiting for everybody.
a dozen pizzas, right? I'm sorry, we had 195 people registered. Holy shit.
And
wow.
then taggers, because there had to be like 2.
Well, we had a bunch of taggers because our count was over 220.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And I think that somebody missed a few count. That was a long line of
It was
bikes.
a
man. I'll
lot
count them.
of-
I got video. I'll count
Good.
them fuckers.
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
Well, when
So do you
guys-
think there was more Triumphs or Moto Guzzi's?
Well, we joked for years. We were like, okay, in 2014 or whatever. Yeah, 2014 or 15, after I'd been a Guzzi dealer for a couple of years, somebody said, there are more Guzzis at this rally than there are Triumphs, right? And at the time, we didn't have the same Triumph dealer we have today. We had Northern Ohio Triumph and Ducati. It was a little bit of a further schlep. But we always kind of was a badge of honor that we were like, hey, our DGR has more fucking Guzzis than it has Triumphs. That's pretty good considering Guzzi makes 31 motorcycles a year by hand, right?
Right.
And Triumph makes all the motorcycles, right? So that's saying something.
and half of them sink on the boat on the way over.
Well, that happens too. Yeah. So we were kind of like, oh, this is really well. But today I was very impressed by how many Guzzis were out there. Holy crap.
Well, and I told you, man, when I got there,
Yeah.
because I got pretty early, and it was pretty sparse yet, and there was the older dudes that had a couple, not older, probably our age, but compared to some kids, they had a few of the older Guzzi's in the corner, right? And they were like, hey, I think the dude that organized this, the guy over there, a tall guy, yeah, he's got a shop. I think he's carrying Guzzi again. I was like, no way. He's like, oh, man. He goes, oh, yeah, look, he's got the V100. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And I came and told her, that was pretty cool. It was neat to hear that your new venture is like, people are stoked
Oh, yeah.
about it. Yeah.
I'm really happy about it. We had some people there that were from Columbus and from
For now.
Youngstown. Right, yeah, for now.
Oh no. Phil got old man to death the past 2
I
days.
did. Past 2 days, I've been old man to death. I have been old man to death. They literally. I'm 6 years older now because I was in close proximity to old men.
Have you changed your political views?
I caught old.
I was there yesterday, so
Yeah,
you got
you
way
were there
older.
too. Yep.
Are you going to stop washing your ass?
Yeah. Well, what's
My
funny?
wife comes home complaining because she has patience. She's like, there's nothing I can't stand worse than old man ass. These old men come in and you can just smell like old man ass.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that is terrible. What was funny yesterday that happened, and Dan will help me on this. we have a friend of the shop that we love dearly. His name is Kurt Epprecht. And Kurt Epprecht is just the nicest fucking motorcyclist you've ever met. He's deep into motorcycles, goes to Sturgis, goes to Daytona. He's just cut him, he bleeds motorcycles. Great guy. And he's got cool motorcycles. He does all kinds of cool motorcycle stuff. He's doing track days. He's just a really, really good guy. Fantastic dude. And I learned a few years ago that he owns Great Lakes Cheese Company, which is not a small thing. I mean, that's a big, big thing. Like if you buy cheese in North America, you're probably buying cheese from Great Lakes Cheese Company. It's kind of the way it works. If you're buying cheese at Aldi, you're definitely buying Great Lakes Cheese Company cheese. So he's in the shop, and Dan comes in, and Kurt's been here for a little while. So Dan pops in, and I'm like, Kurt, this is my friend Dan. Dan does bourbon. And I looked at Kurt, and I said, and Kurt does cheese. And Kurt does, I do bourbon too. And then instantly, Dan's like, what did you say?
I don't know. I made this connection actually years ago. I think when you talked about
Okay.
Kurt, and I worked with his wife around 1990. His ex-wife, Kim, and you know they've been at my house. We've been out to this old Mexican bar up in Parma that used to be called Cancun, owned by a German couple.
All the best Mexican bars are owned by Germans, aren't they?
Well, they can't call him Argentinian.
Right.
It was really cool to reconnect with him.
It was fun to watch you guys because I could tell you guys might have shared an evening where somebody might have got arrested.
I don't think there were any arrests involved.
Okay, police were involved for sure.
A lot of staggering.
Watching you guys play off each other was pretty fucking hilarious to see two guys I've known for quite a while and did not realize you knew each other. And then seeing you guys be like, oh, remember that time you... Yeah, that was fun. That was super cool. It was neat because I like both of you guys. And that was really fun to see kind of that happen right there in the shop. It was super neat. It was a fun time. And Kurt's cool. Kurt's just a great guy. He's got an old Moto Guzzi Eldorado, but it's a police edition. So it has the siren. It's got everything on it.
So I've been watching A Long Way Home.
Yes.
And Ewan is riding a 1974 Eldorado Police Edition.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Kurt's is in much nicer condition. But, yeah, Ewan's is kind of beat up, but it gets the job done.
Have you been watching it?
Yeah.
Where can you see this?
Yeah.
Do you think you think the motor locked up?
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Totally.
Right? Okay.
Motor locked up. And don't say that around Mo, because I think Mo built that bike in California. But anyway, yeah. But I do believe, that probably happened. I think the motor might have locked up.
How are
but
you
anyway,
watching this?
Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long way home. It's good. It's good stuff. The what's really funny is if you're in an event and Kurt happens to have his police bike there, hey man, it's been about 3 hours. I think there's a bunch of new people here. Go ahead and fire up the siren. Well, the siren isn't a button you press. The siren is a squirrel cage that basically runs on a roller that rides on the rear tire. So the rear tire has to be moving. So you have to put the bike up on the center stand, fire it up, put it in gear, and then activate this lever. And the lever drops the roller wheel against the tire, and that makes the sound. But the sound is so fucking awesome. And it's just, it just cuts through everything. You could have 1,000 people in an event, and all of a sudden, and then when he cuts it off, it takes like 3 minutes to settle down. So you could pull the guy over, stop your bike, get off the bike, and give the ticket, and it would still be like,
Yeah, when I worked on the fire trucks, they actually have an electric brake on them.
oh, they do?
So you can hit them and be like,
Yeah.
but then you can brake it and stop it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, his does not have an electric brake
I
on it.
should have stole one of those. There were two up on the shelf, like the big,
really?
massive,
Yeah, okay, all right. It's not stealing. Strategically.
It's liberation.
Yeah,
They're not going
strategic
anywhere.
liberation.
They're trash, just sitting around.
Right.
Like,
You're just relocating assets. You know what? You're a Cleveland resident. You have every right to that property.
let's say repurposing.
That's right. You're strategically repurposing it. Yeah, it was fun. It's a fun thing, and it's good to have those guys around. It's really fun. And to see him come out to DGR today was also a huge plus. We had all kinds of cool people came out.
Did you see the Norton?
I sure did.
Did it make it?
It definitely did. It made it to Squire's Castle. Okay. I don't know if it made it beyond that because he was one of the guys that was in the shop on. He's an old racer.
Yeah, I mean,
what was weird was watching Gordon watching Bruce Gordon be in the room with the guys he used to race with and the sons of guys he used to race with, and all of them making that connection. This young guy, mid-40s or whatever, he's standing around. He's like, oh, yeah, I grew up on the track. I grew up with my dad racing. My dad raced here. My dad raced there. My dad raced everywhere else. And Gordon's like, is your dad so-and-so, so-and-so? And yes, that's my dad. Oh, fuck. Holy shit. Yeah, we raced everywhere together. And I'm like, that really is cool.
You missed Bruce in salesman mode.
Oh, really?
So Bruce is liquidating his collection.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so all the young boys that like the vintage bikes is like, you got to come over. I got 10 bikes for you. What do you want? I got
Come over
this
to the
one."
crack shack.
Come over to the crack shack. I got a chopper to show you.
Yeah.
Let me show you a real chopper there, Sonny.
My best user, Macklefresh, doesn't stumble around anymore.
I got to fill the void in my economy that was once
he's-
supplied by John McElfresh.
I mean,
I don't-
half of the crappy bikes I bought off of him.
Oh, yeah.
and I appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah,
Totally.
no, but he's asking realistic prices to the point that I'm like, I'll never have another project. And he was like, would you like this? I'm like, fuck, I kind of want that.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Well,
He's a pusher man.
I'm the pusher man. What's his chopper? Is that an Enfield?
It is a Norton.
It's a Norton.
It is a Norton based. He built it in 1972 from scratches.
Yeah. Yeah.
and- yeah. I keep telling him you got to let that.
It's
thing,
that's a 750 though, right? I think it is.
I could
think it's
not
Commando
tell you.
750. It was
But it
actually
is
a better motor.
unrestored.
I
Yeah.
don't think. I
72.
don't. No. I don't think it's a Commando. I think the motor's actually older than.
Oh,
72.
you think it might be an old 500?
something
Oh, like an
that.
Atlas or something?
Yeah. I think
I don't know. It actually has numbers in it.
That's the
he
problem
says
is-
it's I don't know.
yeah.
That's the problem is when you get back to bathtubs and the Atlas and everything else, everybody's like, I have no fucking clue what that
Yeah,
is.
there's no idea. But in any case, it's just funny because I saw it in his barn when he's like, I got a chopper. Let me show you my chopper. And I honestly expected to go out there and see like a 74 Sporty,
Yeah, right.
right? Like every chopper ever, I expected to see like a 70 Sportster, something normal, right? And I get out there and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's not a chopper. That's a swing set with a motor in it.
Yeah.
It is the most sketchy looking thing ever.
Hey, it evens out at 70.
It's got a coffin tank. It's got
I
all
think
of
he
it.
actually like hand twisted the.
Oh,
the
there is
twisted,
no doubt in my mind that was hand twisted. In fact, I think that he made his own forge and torches to twist that shit because it looks like it. I'm like, oh, that's not exactly straight, but it's completely handmade.
Yeah.
It's totally handmade. It's cool looking. It's a great, great looking old bike. If anybody wanted like a true piece of time,
Yeah.
I want him to get it rid. He was going to trade it for some kid who was going to trade him a CBR 600. I'm like, you're not
No.
trading that thing, dude.
no way.
No way.
Yeah, that would be sad, man. Like, that's an unrestored, but
It's got like
still-
a nice mural on the
Yeah.
tank and everything.
does.
and
Naked
it's like,
lady with business cards handing
No,
them
it's
out.
like a guy and a girl smoking a joint.
It is.
Like a waterfall kind of thing.
Really? John's not lying. That's
that was
exactly
fucking
what it is.
awesome.
Come on, Sleepy, you're on this,
That
right?
is
I
exactly
do.
what
I would
is.
take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's
don't
so
have
funny.
a chopper.
Yeah, it's really, really.
It's got a raccoon playing a banjo.
Fuck, that would have to be mine. dude.
Oh my god.
Well, see, now we have to paint a mural of the raccoon playing the banjo on your bike. Which one's getting it?
I don't know. That's
Yeah, that's a
point.
good target. I mean, to
Yeah.
have a raccoon playing a banjo, but you know what makes it better? And I'm not lying. To be a true blues performer, you have to be blind.
Yeah.
And
All right.
Sleepy has a blind raccoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
a
man.
blind raccoon playing the banjo?
yeah.
Dude,
You have the
but
perfect
blind
blues.
raccoon cinch. That could
Yeah.
be my new fucking
Blind
name.
raccoon
And then they'd
cinch.
be like, "You're not blind." I'm like, "No, but my raccoon is."
Oh my god!
You haven't dropped the cinch.
We're on it. This is perfect.
Well, back at home, they call me Sleepy Wash Bear.
Blind melon lip shits.
I remember when I found that poor little thing, and I am so happy that you guys took it.
Dude, I have the
because
video. I have it saved.
I was at an emotional period right then, and I just was like,
It was
oh,
an
this-
emotional moment for Johnny Mac.
and like anybody, even me in another time and place would have just been like, oh, this thing's a goner.
Yeah.
And I would have dispatched it in some way as humanely as possible, but I just was like, I can't kill anything right now.
No.
And I felt so bad for that little thing, and
Dude, she is the best fucking. I think. I don't know if hard times makes for soft animals or something, but
Right.
like, she is a fucking bud, dude. Like, I don't even have to like when I go in the room, she'll know. Like, she'll hear me come in, and now I just sit there.
Right.
And then I'll kind of forget. It'll be like 5 minutes later, and I'll just feel her little hands, and she crawls up and snuggles with me and stuff. Oh my god, I love that fucking thing. I do. My dog's jealous. I love Kai. Don't get me wrong. I still give her tons of attention. But occasionally she'll be at the door because it's a glass door between
Right.
the room with her nose on the door watching me love this raccoon. Like, fuck you, dude.
And you
Do I have to blind myself, Daddy?
no. You need a saddle for the dog,
Right.
for the raccoon to ride,
yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
or a chariot, whichever we're gonna go with.
But I've heard those two get along pretty well too.
Yeah, they do fine. Yeah, I got pictures of them in the same room. But if Kaya barks, it scares the fuck out of the raccoon.
Well, of course.
So that's the
Well,
problem.
yeah.
And then she gets all timid, and then
Because it's a fucking Great Dane. If a Great Dane barks near me, I'm going to shit myself too. I didn't know your horse could bark.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? Horses aren't supposed to make that noise. Yeah.
So, anyways, but yeah, I love her. She's great.
Oh, that
And I'm in. I'm gonna paint something with her. I'm gonna get a tattoo of her first.
Old sleepy blind raccoon cinch.
That's right.
That's a pretty good one, though. That is a true blues handle right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, that if you can say that without hearing bow-dow-dee-dow-dow,
Yeah, right.
bow-dow-dow-dow-dow.
Okay, so I was wrong.
Yeah.
Bruce says the bike is a matchless, but the motor
matchless?
is a Norton 750 cc vertical twin, same as the Norton Atlas had. Norton, Matchless, and AJS were all owned by the same company by the mid 60s.
We were both right. Tom, I said 750, and
Yeah.
Tom said Atlas, so we were
Yeah.
both right. Yeah, that's cool. But if the frame's a matchless, Jesus fucking Christ, that's
I
obscure.
thought it was motor matchless and frame Norton.
No, motor Norton 750.
Motor Norton.
Yeah.
Okay, Norton matchless. Gotcha.
Yeah.
He said,
So it's a natchless.
Yeah.
yeah, Norton, Matchless, and AJS were all owned by the same company.
Well, yeah.
It's a Norchless.
Well, it's because the British motorcycle industry decided to do something really stupid and make all British motorcycles one company.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that was
your
the thing
bit
that
of
happened.
history. The British motorcycle industry sucked because the British motorcycle industry became one company.
Dude, I totally understand what it's like to have an electric car right now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because I'm staring at this fucking thing at 11%. We're driving through
Oh,
the
you
mountains
have range
right now.
anxiety.
And I'm like, okay, we got to get through the fucking mountains. And when we get down,
You have
if
computer
we can
range
coast
anxiety.
a little bit, we might get a few extra miles.
Talk faster. Talk faster.
Range anxiety on the monitor.
Well, you guys are gonna have to be cool with us if we don't give you the full Cleveland Moto 4 hours
Ba, 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 ba.
because we have had a busy day today.
Wait. Since Chris Smith isn't here, I have to do it. Take my wife, please.
Oh yeah,
Consider yourselves played out if you don't get played out.
right. That's true. That is true. The funny thing today, also, what I got a kick out of was bonus
Yep.
Tanuki.
Tanuki.
Oh shit! I'm drinkless. I went to the shop and I was wearing normal clothes to go to the shop. I was going to change when I got there. I was going to change motorcycles because I've been riding that Ewan McGregor, that GSXS 1000, that brand new Suzuki. I've been riding that around.
Which somebody else actually had one today, and I was like, oh my god, there's two of
Oh,
these
really?
ugly ass things. You didn't see it? You were
I
standing
didn't
right
see
behind it.
I didn't see it.
Well, you rode it, so how is it?
Anyway.
Well, the motorcycle's amazing.
Yeah, it just looks
You
like
just
it
can't
looks.
look at it.
Yeah.
The motorcycle itself, everything about that bike. So there's two things it doesn't have. One, wind protection. Two, aesthetics.
Yeah.
So it is basically like you took a really, really good brand new sport bike and then took all the plastic off of it and then got your dustpan and put two LED lights in your dustpan and bolted it to the front of the motorcycle.
Which is even funnier because the one that was there today
Mm-hmm.
had zip tied the headlight back onto it. Oh. So like it had already been wrecked or
already been
stunted
crashed
or some
once.
stupid shit. And it was because I looked at the back and I'm like, is that a B King?
Yeah.
Because it had no fairing on it.
Right.
I was like, is that a B King? And I walked around the front and went, oh my god, there's two of
a
them.
GSXS.
Somebody else intentionally bought one.
You should throw a windjammer on it or something.
I should. It is, and
It would make it look better.
well, here's the thing is I did find out it has a built-in speed limiter at 150 miles an hour. You cannot possibly hang on to it.
Yeah.
There is no
It's-
way on God's green earth. I don't know what its top speed is, but nobody will ever know what its
you
top
can't
speed
get
is
there.
because unless you duct tape yourself to it, you're going to get sucked off this
it-
goddamn thing at 150 miles an hour.
Oh well, telling people they're going to get sucked off.
Well,
the bike
believe
is
me,
probably going
especially
to be selling.
the British guys all just bought them, right? Yeah. Oh, got sicked off, mate. But what's funny is the other night I'm riding home and it's dark, so it's fine. So I go, crack it, and I'm like, okay, $135. I'm hugging the tank. I'm just being as small as I can be. $140. I wish I was smaller. $145. Somebody's trying to remove me from this motorcycle. I got it up to 150 by like tightening my legs around the tank, and pulling up with my hands and getting myself as small as I could.
But you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
The difference of like having that feeling.
Yeah.
And then, so when I had my Tuono, when I first got it, I had the stock thing.
Yeah, you had a little fly screen, yeah.
And then I got like the GV Racing something, and it added like
Yeah.
4.5 inches to it.
Right.
That was enough.
That's
like
all it
that
takes.
fucking
Oh,
thing
yeah.
was enough that it completely changed.
Yeah,
what
but
it
on
felt
this
like.
thing, you're hiding behind a pack of matches.
Yeah, right. You got nothing. So
There's
I'm saying,
nothing.
Oh,
like,
I was
Even the speedometer is
at
non-existent.
80.
Yeah.
I was begging for the bikini fairing for that V7 racer earlier. I was like, what? Who would not put the fairing on the front of this damn thing?
The number 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It was just a really weird thing, but I did after a spicy ride home. You know, the first time I got to ride it and it wasn't raining, which is kind of magical. So the first night I got to ride and it wasn't raining, having a great night and made it through, many opportunities to see God, and got to within a half mile of my house, and I'm just making a left-hand turn on a lake road like I always do, except this time I kept it in first gear and leaned really hard. And so I was up to 50 miles an hour in about 50 feet, and this little weird black SUV parked along the road just decided to turn all of its lights on. Whoop, whoop. And I was like, oh, fuck. And so I'd seen Dan that night, so drinks were shared. And as soon as I saw the lights come on, I immediately just and pulled over. And like before the guy could get the seatbelt clicked, I was already stopped. And I did all the right things, reminded him of my credentials, reminded him of my life history, things I've done for my country, everything else. And I said, and I want you to remember, you didn't have to chase me, because that would have been awful.
An important tech tip from Yankee Phil.
Yeah. And I said, I'm just reminding you, this is a very, very fast motorcycle, and you didn't have to chase me, because that would have been terrible. And he goes, good point. And then he ran me. I just got a weird ticket like 3 months ago because I had a small dealer plate on my full-size car. And that's just weird. We're not going to get into that. But I was right, but the cop felt shamed that he'd pulled me over for something that I was right about, part of my being a dealership thing. And so he felt like he had some justification. So he wrote me a ticket for 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. Now, for the record, if you write me for 5 over the speed limit, I'm going the speed limit, right? There's case law about that. But he wrote me, and that just fucked up a 25-year no-ticket streak, right? So I told the guy, I said, hey, when you run me, there's going to be a ticket from 3 months ago for 5 over, and that's dumb, but Bay Village is Bay Village. So then he comes up and he can't run my plate because it's a dealer's plate and he's not running it correctly. So his partner or supervisor or somebody shows up. He's a nice guy. And I have my helmet on. And I don't know if you guys ride motorcycles. Here's a little rule for you guys if you ride motorcycles and you're dealing with law enforcement. If he doesn't make you take your helmet off, you're not going to be there a long time. If he tells you, take your helmet off and set it next to the motorcycle and go step over there by the side of the road, you're probably going to have a bad night.
Or just have that long talk.
A very long talk. So I noticed that we were having this conversation, and I even told him, I was like, well, I have my gun with me, and I'm abiding by our rules, and here's my card and everything else. He's like, I don't care about that, because it's Ohio. And he said, the whole thing went rather pleasantly, I must say, but he had trouble running the VIN. And so I was like, look, it's in my name. I literally just titled it. And when it comes up, the previous owner is Ewan McGregor.
Right.
And the older guy was like, you mean Obi-Wan Kenobi? And I was like, the same.
The same.
And he goes, how do you have Obi-Wan Kenobi's motorcycle? And I said, I bought it from him. And he goes, that's cool. And the guy just instantly, he became fun again. Yeah. The other guy never became fun. This guy became fun. And I think once the older guy became fun, then the younger guy had no chance in hell of writing me a ticket, despite the 20 over the speed limit. So at that point, the guy comes back and he's like, he hands me my license back and he goes, slow it down. And I was like, you have no idea what I was doing 10 minutes before you stopped me.
You have to move out by me, dude. I was doing 65 in a 55, and the sheriff passed me. Like,
that doesn't happen.
Right around the fucking left-hand side. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to give you a thing. Cost of living in my neighborhood's really fucking high.
Yeah.
For the police, too. And they need to generate income. And there's no better way to generate income than the lights on the top of their cars.
That's what I'm saying. When you want to go fast,
Right.
come out where I live.
That's
and
not
then you
want to
get
go
all the
fast.
They're turning on their money makers.
When I want to go fast, Sleepy. When I want to go fast.
Nobody wants to go out where you live.
Yeah, when I want to hit deer, I'll show up at your house.
No, there's way more in my neighborhood.
Those tall squirrels. Yeah, I had one of those nights that I was like, man, getting away from the cops, getting a thank you, slow down, was the best thing that could have possibly happened. Because had anybody interacted with me for the prior 23 and a half minutes, it would have been a different story than slow down. For the previous 23 and a half minutes, I was trying to break physics, right? and it turns out, I told Merritt the next day, I was like, yeah, I need to stop riding fast motorcycles. And she goes, well, you did. Like, I used to have a lot of fast motorcycles. And she goes, you did. You had a bunch of fast motorcycles, and you quit riding them. And I went, yep, well, I need to get back into that.
Get thee to a vintage scooter.
Right,
when
get thee back to...
when you
I see points in your future.
when you and Sleepy hit the interstate, and I'm wearing this thing,
Yeah, right.
which is a freaking parachute.
Yeah.
And dude on the Sportster and I were like, we don't have windscreens.
Yeah,
this is gonna suck.
Yeah,
And you and Sleepy were just like gone.
yeah. I had to go to the shop to get my laptop before I came here.
No. Coming back from the castle.
Oh, from the castle.
You guys went plaid.
We pulled over to the side lightly for a second to see if anybody was going to cheat that light.
Yeah.
And once I realized nobody was going to cheat the light, then I was like, all right.
As soon as Sean stopped short, and Robbie followed you guys.
Yeah, Robbie will not stop at a red
Sean
light.
stopped
Yeah.
short.
Well, we were on the freeway, and I was like, okay, shit, we got a scooter with us.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm going to keep it 75 and under because we got a scooter with us.
I thought you were very reasonable.
I was very reasonable. So I kept it at 75, and I was just like, yeah, we'll keep it between 71 and 75 so Robbie doesn't hold a piston, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because Robbie's been my friend for a long time. But if we decided we were going to go 83, then Robbie would put a hole in his piston.
Yeah, he would.
Because Robbie would not be like, oh, I'm the Vespa that got left behind.
No, he's a solid dude.
Robbie's a solid dude.
That's like, literally, I told him 20 minutes ago. I was like, dude, your old tire on the front of your bike is bald
Right.
and it's cracked. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, but Robbie's got hundreds.
That's going to be a hard sell because
yeah.
he was looking at it, he's like, that's not that bad. I don't need new tires. I'm like,
I was like, dude.
Robbie's got hundreds. You know what? You want to talk about a stalwart? That guy has put hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles on Vespas, and he has not put 1 mile on a motorcycle.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
that's for
he's like Bagel.
He
Like
told me,
will not
he's
ride
like-
a fucking motorcycle.
He's like, because I was telling him
Yeah.
about riding the Goodsey, and he's like,
Yeah.
well, I've never ridden a motorcycle.
Right.
I'm like, Robbie, I've known you for 2 years now, and it shocks me that you have not
Never.
been on a motorcycle.
never. He won a Lambretta. So he won a Lambretta at the Bandcamp rally.
Yeah.
And he owned that Lambretta for about a week.
Yeah.
And he goes, I took the side panels off and I just kept staring at it. I couldn't figure out how any of it worked.
It's made of black magic and stupid.
There's way too much linkage in
yeah.
there. There are way too
Because
many
he's got
linkages.
like what, 2 modern belts, like 2 GT.
Yeah,
S,
yeah. I don't want to go too deep
250,
on this, but he had a really nice, relatively new. When I met him, he had a small frame Vespa, and then he
did
got
you have the
P
purple
series.
one?
So he had a very rare daring plum Vespa, modern one.
Yeah.
And he was married to a woman that was prone to acts of emotional violence. And something got out of control one night. She came out with what I could only describe as a entrenching tool. But in any case, it was a hammer on one side and was a bit of a claw, like some weird fucking pickaxe thing on the other side. And she went after his bike for about 47 minutes and left no part of it unscathed. Absolutely no part of it unscathed. And there were about 175 holes in this bike through the steel.
Yeah.
All of it. And to his credit,
She
Robbie
turned it into a cheese grater.
it looked like it had been in a gunfight. It looked like it was a prop in like some video game, and everyone was like, just shoot the Vespa for extra points. There were so many creases and holes in it. But he did. He took it to a body guy and literally spent a ton of money having it done. Yeah, it's back from the dead. Oh my God. So he still has that bike, and then he's got the bike he was riding today, the champagne-colored bike today, which is the more modern bike. But yeah, he's just a dyed-in-the-wool fucking scooterist. That's what he does. Yeah, he's really good at it.
I took a picture. I stopped him and Sean both because they were standing side by side.
Oh, yeah.
And I sent it actually the group chat. I was like, this is like the buddy cop drama of 1978.
Oh, my God. Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. Holy shit.
Yeah, because Sean had that whole
That
fucking I'm a
trench coat.
detective fucking...
He had on a burgundy leather trench coat
And black Italian pointy
Like,
ass
you
with
could-
fucking
black
shoes.
Italian shoes on.
Solving crime on Vespas.
You're right. Holy shit, that is a buddy cop movie.
Dude, I'll make a movie poster tomorrow.
it's
I'll
called
right there.
it's called Paisanos
Paisano.
because it is Crockett and Tubbs on a budget.
I had that whole battle chicka wow.
There
wow,
is
wow,
no
wow.
Ferrari Daytona.
I had
there
like-
are two Vespas.
I had that whole thing in in the back of my head. I had the soundtrack,
Oh my
that
God.
typical soundtrack, and then all of a sudden Harley Bob like walks by, and I'm like, oh my god, there's the drug dealer.
and in the early '80s,
And today I can play the coke dealer. Fucking, they'd be chasing me.
in the early '80s in Cleveland, Ohio, there was a bit of a drug problem, and it focused around the area of Murray Hill,
Dude.
Cleveland's notorious Italian neighborhood.
So exactly what you're talking
until
about.
the Paisanos showed up.
We got it. Okay, I came up with this idea and gave it to Duncan, but fuck it, we're using it. So next year for this fucking DGR thing,
Yeah.
we're gonna come up with a script and shoot a movie within the DGR.
Oh my
we go.
God.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Like a fucking act. Think about it. You have all these vintage bikes and shit. If Sean dresses like that, we could do a fucking detective movie
yeah.
in the middle of the DGR.
Okay, yeah,
It'd be fun as fuck.
I got it.
Dumb skits, and then it's now you have 200 background writers to participate in your movie.
They have no idea they're unpaid extras.
Right. That's
And
the
you have a
point.
subplot that says like, and one of them stole a bag of cocaine.
Right.
Here I was minding my own business, taking a shit in the dumpster at Skidmark, and somebody stole my bag of pure Colombian.
Dude, we could roll this in kind of
Yeah.
like the thing that you went to. We could roll this into whoever participates. Somebody
Yeah.
might be
Yeah.
the person. Like,
Oh, it might be the person.
man.
Might be the
Absolutely.
drug dealer.
Right.
Oh,
And
this
it
could
would-
get really
and,
fun.
And the guy's working his way through the crowd, going like, "If I could only find him, what do we know? Well, he was riding a
And
bike." Right?
Two random people have
Yeah.
to make the connection to
Oh,
make
yeah.
the big score.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my
Wow.
God.
Oh,
Then everybody would have to
next-
introduce each other.
Next
The
year's
whole-
DGR is going to be a heist
Right.
movie,
And
isn't
that
it?
would be the game. It'd be like, okay, you're the buyer, but you don't know who your dealer is.
Right. Yes.
Right.
So now
And,
you have
yeah.
to introduce. Everybody's introducing each other, and then we're filming a lot of
Right.
this shit and making skits out of
Right.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is fucking.
And you could also have fun with it because with the characters of it, you could be like, okay, sign up here. Let me know what your real name is, what's your email address, et cetera, et cetera. But what is your drug name?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So what is your? Do you want to be a buyer or do you want to be a seller?
Can I please shake somebody down for money?
You have to. That's the whole
Yeah.
idea. Would be like you could be a thug too, and you could just be like, hey, you got any coke? Well, I don't got any coke because that's a buyer.
No
Dude,
coke.
we could-
No
But
coke.
then be like, oh, you don't have any coke, but you must have cash.
No
We
coke.
can even say
Only
when
Pepsi.
you show up and register, when you show up and say hi,
Yeah.
we could give them like fucking some kind of fake money, and then that could be all. Dude, this could get really fucking intricate and fun.
God, man.
That-
First time
this-
somebody killed each other with a bag of plastic coins.
I was gonna say this might be,
We did it at band camp where they had bounties out on
Oh,
people's
yeah.
heads for the cowboy one.
Yeah.
which is hysterical
And
because I fell asleep
Yeah.
in my tent, and like everybody was looking for me, like, where the fuck is he? Where the hell is he? And I like woke up
Yeah.
from my nap and came outside. And
Sean
Sean's in.
Nelson says, yes.
I walked outside, and
Yeah.
as soon as I walked outside, they went, "You're nicked." And like,
Oh,
we've
my
been
God.
looking for you for hours. What have you been? I've been asleep.
I had a $5,000 bounty on my head. I was the highest bounty there because Annie, the girl who set it up, she knows I go home to the shop on Saturday. So I leave at ass crack of dawn in the morning on Saturday, go home to my shop, and I go work the shop on Saturday. Don't come back to band camp till 6 o'clock. Well, the hours of the bounty hunting was like from 10 a.m. until like 5 p.m. or something, right? So everyone's like, where the fuck is Phil? Where the fuck is Phil? They want that bounty, right? And Michelle was just insane. Michelle's Canadian. She was all into the game. Like she had a pistol ready, handcuffs ready. She's going to get the bounty. And so I texted Ian when I was leaving the shop, and I was like, hey, I'm on my way back. If you guys need anything else, stop at the Quickie Mart because there's not real good cell phone service there. And he goes, well, you better get your ass back here quick because Michelle is counting on the bounty on your head right now. And I was like, what the fuck is this all about? And he goes, as soon as you get here, Michelle is going to arrest you, but you need to get back here before 6 o'clock. So I skipped the Quickie Mart and I just went straight in. And as soon as I pulled my van in, Michelle's throwing the cuffs on me. And I guess she got all the fucking bounties. I guess she arrested everybody at the entire camp.
I was gonna say, I think she got me.
She got you too.
as, soon as,
It was
as soon as I got out of the tent,
Yeah.
she was like, "You're done."
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, that was it. It was funny, but it is a fun thing to do. It's a really hilarious
I mean,
Absolutely
is this going to be
hilarious thing
too
to do.
intensive though for a 200-person?
It is gonna be-
impromptu
Well, we'll
ride?
figure it out. This is an initial thought.
It's a very bad idea. Yeah.
We're
We're
workshopping this.
workshopping it.
Right. It is a very, very bad idea.
But some of
Because
it
the
can
one
be
thing we
applied.
don't need to do is have it turn into Keystone Cops on motorcycles.
No.
No,
Because if it's Keystone Cops on motorcycles, then all of a sudden it's going to be
I
like,
like that just having the two people that we originally, because that would just make people have to introduce people
I think
to
Chris
people.
Smith just pulled in.
Well, I told him we were filming. He's like,
Look at
damn it.
look at
Oh,
that.
we're filming for another 7%.
Yeah, literally for 7%, and then we're done. In fact, if this thing falls off the air real quick, you know what it was.
It's a motorcycle
I thought
with
he'd be
a
halfway to
beak.
California on that bike by now.
Ah, nice. Yes, this is true. Yeah, you really did.
It is a test ride, right?
It is a test ride. Yep, it is a test ride. The Chris Smith isn't famous for long test rides. Yeah. Oh, so it's a test ride, right? That means I get to test it.
Well, yeah, he's only put 1,000 miles on the V85
Until
TT. So.
I never come back.
Taking it around the block isn't a test.
A test ride means I got to run a tank of gas through it. I got to know how much this tank
Oh,
holds.
yeah.
If I can get like 5,000 miles on it and it's good, I'll be interested.
Good. I feel satisfied about this bike. I feel it's cool. Yeah. It is one of those. It's definitely one of those things where Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is a great excuse to get a bunch of like-minded individuals together under the very weak premise of, hey, we're doing something for charity.
When he comes in, we'll say, okay, we're getting ready to start, Chris.
All right.
No, yeah,
I'm
right.
doing my check.
Oh.
Right. Oh, yeah, right. Because, well, 820, was that? Yeah, he might be good. Yeah.
There he is.
All right. Yeah, can we get a final mic check? Can we have a mic check?
Check.
Check, 1, 2, check, 1,
Am I
2.
good?
Check,
All right.
check.
All right. Check.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's here.
Hey, we're just
Hey, we're just in time, Chris.
just getting ready to
get
start, Chris. Go
Holy
ahead.
shit.
hurry up, grab a mic.
Good for you. Fucking
There's
A.
no,
Just getting
there's
ready
no,
to go
there's
live.
no dessert tonight.
Yeah, no dessert, no food, no craft services. Yeah.
She's on vacation.
Fuck, where's the fucking food?
Oh God, Smith's right.
Already breaking shit.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
break shit. Fuck you.
Oh my God.
He might be speaking in cursive.
No, we were talking briefly about
Come
about
give me a drink. Fuck, say.
What you need?
for fuck's sake.
What
you want?
Gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic.
Oh boy.
What is surprising to me is that we registered that our little group of idiots here, we earned $10,000 for that charity.
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty cool. 195 people registered and $10,573 raised.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty neat. Never mind the fact that Columbus, Ohio beat us on the dollars with 80 people. So they had 115 less people, but they had more money donated.
They're rich down there.
That's exactly right. You know what? They might have the wallet, but they don't have the heart.
It was that county next to Columbus. You know that one with all the big houses, whatever the fuck. It's like right
Dublin?
Yeah.
Like Dublin, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Sleepy, can you hear Chris?
Check.
Oh yeah, sounds
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
Chris.
Check. Oh, really?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good enough.
you sound good, man.
Nobody else wants to
Okay,
hear me.
turn them back off.
All
Okay, now
right.
turn him off.
Fantastic. Well, if anybody has anything else, I think that's a podcast.
So where's your joke?
Yeah.
We did it to John
I
last
left it
week.
at home.
Right. Yeah, we did it to John. So to bring Chris up to speed, we are running on life support. We only have 7% left in the battery on the podcasting device.
Somebody
the
removed
Joybox.
the power cable during the week, and the battery.
The battery
went
has
down.
slipped, and it's.
I think it's cramped.
It's burning through the energies right now.
No, Becky needed it for work.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's what happened. Sure, it was. Yeah. So.
Let me just say that 85 ran like a.
Oh, you
fucking-
enjoyed it?
You know what? It's got throttle. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's got pickup. I don't think I ever got out of second gear. It just, boom! You know, it just rips and tears.
And it's a fun bike for a tall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I was comfortable on it.
Yeah.
You know, and I got long legs. I'm 6'10".
Yeah.
And I was surprised that.
I'm very impressed. Like as a taller person, that bike doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Most bikes are crowded up on and stuff, and that bike is very roomy. Yeah.
And you shift, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
It
And it's
takes
not.
off.
I mean, it's not 1,000 horsepower. It's like a 70 horsepower bike, but it
Yeah.
pulls like a freight train.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Hey, bang, boom, we're gone. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time on it because it's a bike that I think doesn't get enough attention. People are just kind of like, oh, it's V85, whatever. But I really like that bike.
Well, and I only dropped it 3 times.
Good for
so,
you. Excellent.
yeah.
Well, apparently I dropped mine at Porco and I wasn't even there for it.
I just assumed that was
Here,
still that was Phil's way of selling an extra
you,
bike
John.
or two today. But, well, give these bikes out. If you break it, you bought it.
Yeah, there you go. A scratch and dent sale.
Wait, what do you mean? Somebody knocked what happened?
Well, when I parked at Porco, I rested my side stand on a rock in the basically in the garden, right? So right out in the front, there's an area of mulch and stuff where there's dirt. And historically, when I pull up front there, I like to park right in front because there's cameras there, right? And you're right by the front door. A lot of people coming and going. It's a pretty good spot to not get your bike stolen.
Yeah, very VIP.
Very VIP. And usually I'll go get a rock or something and put it under my side stand, and, there we go. And, because I don't have like 43,000 side stands pucks that have been donated to the shop
Pucks
over
around the
30
world,
years,
right?
right? So I don't have that, I guess. So today when I parked it, there was a bigger rock, and I just kind of parked it on the edge of the bigger rock. Well, apparently planet shifted or some shit happened. Well, I'm at the bar getting a drink at the end of the day, and 14 people came and said, "Oh my God, Phil, your bike fell over. Your bike fell over." And I remembered that, so I was kind of like, okay, did it fall on its left or did it fall on its right? And they said it fell on its left. I said, it didn't fall over. It just gently went into the earth. So we got out there, and a couple of guys were super nice. They had it up before I even walked out. And we picked it up, and of course, here's me. There's crash bars that exist in the world, and I bought them and put them on my bike. Smartest guy in the room. So there wasn't even a mark on the bike anywhere. I mean, in fact, there wasn't even dirt on the bike, hilariously, because it fell over into some plants.
Yeah, it sounds like it did like you're saying, like the...
Yeah. Yeah, the engine guards killed 4 tulips.
It had finished.
it.
It had finished, and
That was where you usually say,
going back to...
I'm going to sleep now.
Yes.
Right? I've been up all day. I'm going to take a rest.
Right. Well, that's
So it
good.
was fine. There was no damage. There was nothing wrong with it.
Oh,
It was
good.
it was dramatic for some people to come out and see the bike laying on its side.
Oh, I'm sure it's so beautiful.
Right.
It's just hard to look at.
Oh, yeah, they're gorgeous when they're laying down.
It's like when a supermodel breaks
Right.
a heel. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry. It looks terrible.
Oh, now she's attainable.
Still not as tall as Smith at 6'10".
I got a
though.
chance.
Everybody
So,
running around the bike going, discount?
Oh, yeah,
Discount?
right.
Discount?
I heard there's a scratch and dent special on the V100. The best thing I heard, too,
Chris,
was...
Chris doesn't have a birth certificate. He has a girth certificate.
Oh, smile when you say that.
Today, somebody walked up in the thing, and they were like, "Oh, man, did you bring out the new Mandalorian?" And I was
I
like,
heard that, yeah.
I was like, what? And the guy's like, you get the V100 Mandalorian. And I was like, oh, now I
You
get
played
it.
along, though.
I thought it was great. I thought that was brilliant.
You
As
chewed
opposed
him up
to
on that.
the Mandello.
It's like
As opposed to the Mandello Delario.
like a single American is ever going to
The
understand what that
Morbidello.
means.
The Morbidello.
Morbidello.
The Morbidello, exactly.
Mortadello.
Mortadello. The Morbidello. The Mandadello.
Mandadello.
Right. The Mandible. The V100 Jawbone.
Like-
Yes, the
Like, great, guys. No
Yeah.
American. We don't speak anything other than
Mandello.
stupid
Right.
English.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Well,
So-
that's Gucci's favorite thing, too, is they name shit we can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Norge.
Nor yay.
That's, yeah, okay, thanks.
Well, I mean, your friends from the sidecar class had the Bassa out today.
The Bassa.
Yeah.
They had the Bassa out today, and they always say Moto Guzzi.
Moto Guzzi.
It's always a Moto Guzzi. It's a Moto Guzzi. Nice Guzzi. And then you really know what people are when they're like, yeah, man, I had a Moto once. Because they think that, like I had a Harley once. You shorten Harley Davidson by removing the second name.
Yeah.
So they think that follows suit for all motorcycles.
Cool. What kind of moto did you
What
have?
kind of moto did you have? Oh, yeah, I had an old moto. It was great. I love Italian motorcycles. I'm like, you did not have a Moto Guzzi. And it was like, yeah, if you're going to shorten it, you shorten it to Guzzi.
Yeah.
Guzzi, like pizza. You can do this. I have faith in you, right? But yeah, Norjays were a problem for everybody, just
I
constantly.
can't wait till they bring out the Capricola.
Hey, the new Moto Guzzi Gabagool.
Put me down for a sopressata.
So for the Moto Guzzi 250 limoncello.
The Moto Guzzi Margarita. It's a margarita. It's pizza.
So
I
I
feel
met,
like we're like neglecting the Germans.
The Germans.
The German-
I had a B once.
I had a BMW sauerkraut.
I once had a Bavaria. Yeah, nobody ever says like, oh, I had a Vec.
I had the Becca.
I had a Vec.
so I met Dan Davis today,
Yes, you did.
and
What a great guy he is.
he is running a well. You're involved in this out over the Crawford Auto and Aviation Museum.
Yeah.
A bunch of small bikes.
Yeah, mini bikes.
So I was talking about how Pete and I went out west and rode from San Diego back to Cleveland on mini motos, and he said, "Do you got one to sell?" And I said, "Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I might done. Yeah,
I
might do. Yeah, I might do.
So he's interested in the red monkey.
He'd be a good guy for a monkey bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, fantastic guy.
He's one of the directors over at Crawford Auto Museum.
I was gonna say we knew a guy with a Dax that might be for sale.
Not done playing
Not
with that
ready
Dax yet. Yeah, don't sell my bike yet. Not just yet.
I'm not even the salesman here.
Not even just yet.
I can see that bike being sold after Mid Ohio.
Well, that's the maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
That
Well,
seems
that was-
like
Yeah.
the Phil Mid Ohio. bike.
That is the way it is. I like to try a bike at Mid Ohio for a while, and then if it's not for me, then I sell it.
The hysterical thing I ran into today was I started talking to a guy. He's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about trading up from my Piaggio because he had the color 150 color. What's the weird one with the stickers?
Sean Weatherspoon.
No, the color, the
Color
color,
Vibe.
color
The Color
vibe.
Vibe.
He had
Color
a color
Vibe.
vibe,
Yeah,
and he's
Color
like,
Vibe.
"I'm thinking about getting a new 300." And I said, "Well, we just got the new 310s in," and he's like, "Who are you?"
Right.
And I went, "Well, I work for Phil," and
Right.
he says, "Well, I've never seen you at the shop." I said,
No.
"Then everybody in the front of the shop is doing their job."
It's like, if you come to the shop and you see Tom, two people have died.
Oh, yeah.
Call the police
Oh
immediately.
my god!
If you see Tom in the shop, there's a huge fucking problem, man. Like, come on, man.
So I said no, and I turned him on to Dan because Dan's got the new. You got the 310, right? Is yours
Yeah.
the 3 or the 310?
Dan, I looked over and there were some Jordanian people sitting on your scooter.
Yeah,
Oh,
this-
at the castle.
This couple came up. They just got engaged, and they're like, "Can we take a picture on your scooter?"
Because they had a photographer.
Yeah,
It wasn't like they were just two people that happened to get engaged and were like, I'm at the Squire's Castle. No, they had a paid photographer with them. Yeah.
Well, they were doing like pirouettes and stuff in front of the castle, and then like they saw all the motorcycles and literally came running down the hill.
I looked over and they're posted up on Dan's bike, and it just literally looks like a wedding picture.
Yep.
It looks like a greeting card.
Meanwhile,
That was
the
cool.
dude.
So, Dan, are you taking on another wife?
is it optional?
Yeah, it's an
Of
option.
course it is.
They'll get the picture taken, and then they'll have to buy the scooter later.
I just thought it was great when somebody says like, I think Dan's over there selling a Vespa for you, and I looked over and I was like, shit, if he isn't, my God, that's actually happening right now. And I was like, I think Dan just got involved in somebody's wedding pictures.
Well, that gets him a discount on his service next time around.
That's true. That's true. That's it.
You have business cards for that still, right?
Yeah, we got referral cards.
Yeah, referral
Oh yeah,
cards.
if you're a gregarious person, I'll give you a stack of referral cards. Get $50 every time
Well,
somebody cashes one in.
You told me a while ago there was one guy that has been living on this for like 20 years.
He turned in. Renee will tell you, but I think he turned in $2,700 worth of credit or to credit. Well, I mean, that's 2,700.
Well, that's fair.
54 people.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gave away 54 referral cards and said very clearly, take that into the shop. When you buy a bike, I get a $50 spiff. And people just love the guy. So they bring it in. It was like, hey, make sure he gets his spiff. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. No shit. And he'd stacked up a mountain of credit at my store. Yeah. And he's like, oh, you're going to service my bike? And I said, yeah, that's cool. And I'm not paying anything for it. And I'm like, I guess you run the shop now. And he goes, no, I've got all kinds of referral credit.
I have like $4,000 in credit, man.
Yeah. I was like, I guess you do.
You owe me an LX 150.
Right. That was the joke. The joke was if the number got high enough, he's going to get a free scooter out of the deal. Yeah. So it is pretty funny. But I don't think he's paid actual money for a service in a really long time. Yeah. He's been using Camel Cash.
Yeah.
He did his work, man.
Dude should get into Amway or something.
He's just one of those guys, man. Everybody loves him. He's a super sweetheart guy.
You know,
And-
that's what we got to do next. Speaking of Camel Cash.
Yeah.
I know a guy like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and he's a retired guy, so he just patrols the metro parks on his Vespa.
Don't you hate retired guys?
Well, he's a retired dude, and so everywhere he goes, he stops and he's reading a book or doing whatever, and somebody says, "Is that your Vespa?" And he's just best salesman in the world, man. Yeah, that's
So
it.
I'm thinking satin like marble man jackets with like the Cleveland Moto thing on the back.
I don't like
thinking-
this idea.
Keep
okay.
thinking.
I'd like to think it maintains its dignity by being distinguished.
we have
Yeah.
dignity.
We did today. Jesus Christ.
It's going down fast.
It is going down fast, right?
With the cocaine dealer here with the raccoon.
Yeah,
tie.
when we turn it into Cleveland Vice next year.
Yeah.
with Crockett and Tubbs. Yeah, when we break that out. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Cincy Do for that for that video he did.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Jesus Christ. That
Holy
was,
fuck, that was a good video.
that was fantastic.
So to bring it up so people know, go right now, go to YouTube and type in Mandello,
V100S.
V100 Mandello S demo ride or test ride from Motorcycles, Motor Stories and More.
Yeah.
Moto Guzzi owes you some money for that or something.
Oh, I sent it to my reps. I sent it to everybody because it's so well done. And it is. It's brilliant. It's so much fun to watch. It's fucking
I'd be
funny.
mad I made fun of him.
First one's free.
Yeah.
What's that?
I made fun of him at first, but
They were
in a,
fine.
in a
Hey,
fun
look,
way.
Oh, they got no one. Most of the people that work there, they don't have 6 Guzzis at home,
Yeah.
so they're not taking it as a affront to their family or anything like
Right.
that. But the stuff that you said is all stuff that, yes, is legendarily true about Moto Guzzi motorcycles. Absolutely, nothing you said wasn't untoward.
That's my
Nothing you
point.
said wasn't
Like, it was-
unearned.
Yeah, it was
Right.
all in good.
We
fun.
call them tractors for a reason.
Right.
This is a change. This is a sea change
a
for them.
huge change.
It's amazing and it's so much fun. But it was a really good video because what makes it even better is you're not the guy who's trying to sell a Moto Guzzi.
No.
If I do that exact same video, I'm a shill.
Well, that's what. So this
Yeah.
dude, one comment, and
Yeah.
I was gonna handle it in one way, and I didn't,
Yeah.
which was great because then a dude from Ireland had our back.
Mm-hmm.
So this dude's like, "Well, it's an unethical review because you know the guy." I'm like, "Well, how do you think anybody gets a bike to review?
Right.
It's not like you just walk into a dealership that you don't know the person and go, "Can I take this bike out for a full day to film it?"
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "Sure, no problem, my friend."
Exactly.
Secondly, I mean, okay, I've worked on this YouTube channel for a long fucking time. I know it's not huge, but it's a passion of mine that I like to do, so I might as well do it. But I'm not going to throw my integrity away and all the stuff that I've worked hard to do just because I know you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, I appreciate you
Hey.
and stuff like that, but I'm not like if I feel something about a bike, I'm going to say it.
And our
mean,
shop's history
Phil,
too.
if you ever need somebody to throw their integrity away,
I mean,
Call me.
the funniest part is I literally work for you, and I'll talk
Yikes.
shit about
Well, no,
anything
but
before.
and secondly, I told the guy, I said, dude, we do a podcast where like the owner of the shop tells you the bad things about some of the bikes he sells. Like
15 of my videos are literally about bikes we're selling
Yeah.
Yeah.
that are telling you everything that's wrong with it.
Right, because
Right.
you want because
Right.
here's the thing: if somebody has their mindset on a V7,
Yeah.
and they like that it's a lower horsepower bike, and they like the character or something like that,
Right.
like that's fine. Like so, when you say like this is a lower horsepower bike or whatever, the dudes who are buying them are like, yeah, I know that, I don't care.
Yeah.
Watch my review of the genuine Rattler, where it's literally called "Yet Another Case of Chinese Junk."
You-
right?
well, you don't-
There's a guy really trying to sell the product.
right.
Well,
you know, it's
and
like,
if you buy a V7,
Yeah.
you're not buying it for its sport bikeness.
But my
Literally.
big thing was I was like, so here's the thing. I said like if I was trying to sell it to this market, I'm like, this YouTube is worldwide.
Yeah.
I'm like, so do you think that my video of honest stuff that's verified, like nothing I said is not verifiable. Some of it's subjective, but it's almost like it's exactly what I said. You can either not like that feeling or you can like it, but it's not like I said it has 9,212 horsepower and it knocked me off the back of the bike. That would be unethical. Well, we were honest about it. But so anyways, this Irish dude's like, I'm from Ireland. I thought the video was great. I liked the bike. Now I took some of the stuff that he said and I'm going to buy it in Ireland. So fuck you.
right, exactly. Right. That's the best thing.
Like, how did that benefit
Those
us?
Irish
Let me,
cunts. I
let me
can't
show you
believe
the
it.
way this is going to backfire.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy one in spite. I'm going to buy one despite your stupid motorcycle shop in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to own one without you being any part of it. Here's your beak not getting wet. Take that, stupid septic.
I love everybody.
Well, either way, Steve did a very nice
Thank
job.
you. I'm going to
It's
do
really
more.
good.
That's my new thing. I'm going to
Yeah.
work hard on these things.
So now shilling,
Well, let's work a little harder.
coming from this
Steve.
in shilling, Moto Stories and More.
Right.
Sleepy-
Exactly. Now let's get back to some proper shilling.
Wait, you guys ready to have an adventure?
yeah.
We're at 2%, baby.
Okay.
We're riding the
All
no,
right.
we're riding the
How is
wire.
that?
I'm sorry.
Crash and burn.
If it crashes, everything's.
How
Because
is
it
that
needs-
not? Because you're plugged in.
Because
But it's
usually
burning
I
faster
start
than it's
at
earning.
100% and we get down to about
Right.
30%. But somebody unplugged it,
I
so we
unplugged it because
started at
Becky
20.
needed, Becky needed her charger back.
So basically,
it's all the pink.
I need a USB 3
amp.
No,
Yeah.
I need like a fucking 100 amp. It
didn't
needs like a
want-
fucking full on like.
Well,
solar
anyway, the
thing.
point is it's burning more than it's earning.
Yes.
And that's why that happens. Because screens are expensive. You know, they're thirsty, that kind of thing.
I don't think it gets any bigger than that. That's like the proper Lenovo one.
Who loves the Cleveland Moto podcast, though?
I know.
Come on, baby.
Come on, I know. It's so much fun. So much fun. It was cool getting everybody together today. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that whole thing. The reason we've been doing it, the reason it keeps growing, is because just like our podcast, which is 14 years old, our DGR was also 14 years old, and that's one of those things that started when we started our podcast. So it is a real thing.
I got to tell you my favorite pickup line: roses are red, violets are blue. Get in the car. I've got a knife.
I
don't know if that's
That might be our joke of the day.
I don't know if that's a real joke, but
The car, I've got a knife.
Well, speaking of doing this for 14 years, one of the guys I was talking to today was like, "Yeah, I'm up to, I'm catching up as fast as I can." I'm like, "All right, cool. What are you up to?" This is 5:01. I said, "Shit, we got to put out more."
Yeah. Settle down. Slow down.
You're
You're gonna overshoot us.
Man, you're gonna shoot right past. You've gone plaid.
You're gonna shoot right past us. Yeah. Fast forward to where we are in this movie.
Shout out to Moto Hop for having our backs on the Tesla LiDAR thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh,
Oh, you mean on the flat Earth discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
this is
Another one.
it's coming down to seconds. This is fucking.
no.
We
All
can
right,
keep
guys.
talking. This is gonna keep recording.
Here's what I'm going to tell
1%,
you. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. For the folks at home, we're going to do you a solid. You guys, it's been fantastic. We did a great DGR today. In case we go off the air, I want you to know we all love you. Ride fast. Take chances. Play us out here, Johnny.
Bum, 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 bum.
Running on empty. Running on. Running live. Hit the red button, Jack. Get us out of here, sleepy.
Bum, bum, bum.